The postmortem of India's defeat to South Africa in the first test at Kolkata continues, with many more voices weighing in on exactly what went wrong and how India were unable to chase down the target on day 3. Now, needless to say, one of the most well-respected cricketing legends and commentators, Sunil Gavaskar, has also stepped right in. He's laid the blame squarely on the Indian batting lineup, saying nothing else can be blamed for the loss, that India needs to self-reflect. His solution is simple: domestic cricket. But is that it? Let's dive deep. Sunil Gavaskar has been clear in his critique that there is no business putting the blame on anyone else, on the coach Gautam Gambhir, on the team combinations that played the game, or the conditions, which is the pitch. This is what he says.
It was not a vicious turning pitch. It was a pitch on which you needed to bat as if you were playing a 5-day test, not a 50-over match or a T20. That's the issue. Poor technique and poor temperament have landed us in this situation.
The batters did not have the temperament nor the right technique to negotiate the deliveries, particularly the spin bowling. That 124 should have been reached. It was a no-brainer. So what then is the solution? Listen in.
A lot of our players do not play domestic cricket. If you play domestic cricket, you will get to play on such pitches, right? Workload is the word. They only want to play in the Ranji Trophy if they are out of form. Otherwise, they don't want to play. So that is the answer.
Well, that seems to be the most convenient response and solve, doesn't it? Lost a test? Go back to domestic grind. Lost your form? Go back to Ranji. Coming back from an injury? Lay off? Play domestic cricket. Now, while it holds some logic, yes, executing this regularly is not practical, not for India's international cricketers, because a lot of them have a packed schedule right through the year. India plays the most cricket. While they are able to give the domestic matches some attention when required, we can see enough instances of that not happening for a lot of these stars. Now, because it isn't just about the physical toll that it takes, there's also mental fatigue. Now, my question is, how could India not bat better in their own home ground compared to the visitors here? And that ought to sting. No amount of practice in domestic cricket can really make up for that. The other way to look at this, of course, is contrary to what Gavaskar suggests. Do we have the right personnel in this test format in this squad currently? Have we forgotten certain players like Sarfaraz Khan or even Karun Nair for different reasons? Although, who are the VVS Lakshmans? Who are the Rahul Dravids of this generation who can hold their ground, become that wall no matter the conditions, no matter the competition, the opposition in front of them? Who are we grooming to play the long innings, to bat deep, to stick in there, and particularly against spin? That's where the management comes in. So while it is easy to put all the blame on the batting or the lack of application, the management has to take some responsibility in all of this and how it's all panned out. Because this is not the first instance of India's batters catapulting to foreign spinners, and not the first time that they have failed to chase a target in Test cricket. It surely won't be the last. More so if this pattern here continues from various aspects. The fact that Shubman Gill, for example, is still recovering from that strike during the first test is also an additional concern. So my question is this: if this was what the management, including India's head coach here, wanted for the next WTC cycle, the next World Test Championship cycle, no seniors, no Rohit Sharma, no Virat Kohli, a brand new young generation going forward with a young leadership at the helm. If that's what they wanted, then did they cover their bases? Did they only finish part 1 of this execution plan and forget what was rightfully to follow? That the one stepping up would do that, step up, know exactly what to expect of them and know what to deliver. Now, yes, everyone lives and learns. A day, a test, it happens, it's a process. But then the goals should be different for this squad. Because if the goal is to lift the World Test Championship title, then time is ticking. And the thinking here on has to be about what should be done differently to get a result that's different.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.